I would like to say thank you from me and from the text program and let you know how honored we are to be able to take down your history, especially a second time. I believe we interviewed you in 2013, so thanks for sharing with us again.
Morang Allen is Ran Chitan Morang Dane and then got Soba and to is Ra and the kinds of the mixage you don't choose some land the Temachic Gala Jardinans Shastra than the just one the Jardina Cop Theatre and to chase and be gave us some songs. La, I have something to say, he says.
Cheronzo deba pengen gonga rong ge lomba la ojong che ojong tin de tön an tin de che ne ana pe singe de song da ma le la ji ke chen de chou de ge yue de ma du Nima yin lomba kutu ji la la ji ni tu sida damli na chao yo ma ris ta ti chao me se ti song chu le ni ti chao wa yin song zong che rong zu gi ji dong ne lo jong ya bu ji lo zha tun ne be gi ni chue de dong ha ji Dila Shindu Ju. Digi Chedu, Zon Deba Pena. Geshe Tia Namudo. Dindigi, Deba Jiwan, Jin and Deba Peva De. Ni Taban Tuji Chisin Shugis.
First of all, he extends his humble greetings to you all for coming here, and he says that you are in a free world, a free country, and you are studying, and he hopes that, and he is very sure that you will all graduate with distinction and do whatever you aspire very successfully. And in that context, he says that in old times, we Tibetans, especially we Tibetans, like many other small countries, live very secluded, remotely, very close, in closed door, not having very much relation with outside world. Now the world is very fast, and so after coming into exile, and also the world surrounding us also changed, and due to that, our Tibetan cause and Tibetan issue also. Many people around the world came to know about Tibet, and also we have like Geshe Lobsang going outside. So due to that, many of you have come to know about Tibet and also Tibetan Buddhist culture, everything of us. And so what he said, I do really appreciate that you take interest in our Tibetan issue and Tibetan culture, and making effort to come here to learn more about us, and so thank you so much for that.
Of course.
Nibatila Tari Gishi Tote Doji Chogi Cheron Zundiva So Dindi Shua No Lojong La Dunoche Hado Jangwe Rubichigi Senrido Tejo Konga Kichibuchi Swan Noji Cheron Suke Tisoka Dunoche Deva Peru Jewa De Bemese Toji Shugi Yishi Dedon Choji Gizu Toji Gishi Toden Doji Ine Yamande Pechata So Churande Tene Gishi Tanjaja Gishi Tanjaja Nipa Adi Le Penjo Tendis Adi Le Peba Tanda Mazepi Chusutu Charon Solame nombi chugi laudunji laudun jeba zondo ma zi be laudu de so la bebi chudun ri yung du hong na mo jin dari ni de ru song la ma zi ba ni de pe tu wa de la ni ta ba no tu ji chi shu gi
Again, he wants to thank you all, and especially Geshe-la and your text group, all here and there, all related, for coming here. And what he says that, and as an introduction, as you know well, that Geshe Tubten Dorji had been here and studied graduate from this monastery with distinction. He studied for over 2 decades here, and also served in every capacity he can in the Khangsten Monastery everywhere. And not only that, we are very proud of him that he went to US and did extraordinary, excellent job in making contact with you people and others. And this is very much in accordance with his Dalai Lama's vision. And nowadays, you might have heard about that. His Dalai Lama, under his Dalai Lama's guidance and supervision, there are many science and dharma myths. Means this world needs both science and the spiritual needs. So you are coming here and taking interest in our culture is very much in tune with that, So he very much appreciate that, and he says that it is very, very necessary that we take the good from science and also from this one, our culture, so that world can benefit. And yeah. You continue or you want to?
Keith as well.
Yeah.
Ana tenga tari kasine Geshe Tubten Dorji la dewa pe ne laudu mombuji dinde te ungre yes te yindu te du la ngalande ana kechanamo triya yu te so ma todi shengi jine uru ji isina ngal te lao songsi lao song te nga tende me la xie tongyen ki xi che ye ka ye yo ma re shi nyo nyo ye ka ye yo ma re shi yina yo Geshe Tubten Dorji ki tende uru ji se zang genge kama jawa chene ta shibu shigu yo ma re nyo nyo yo ma re yina yo tong nyo ta nyo kong nyo ba de yine nge chi chi ni shugi yi isi da
Very well in advance, before you came here, he was notified that Geshe Tubten Dorji and you are coming, and also requested for another interview, though he feels that he is not competent enough to have to give you an interview and benefit you in any way, but not to disappoint Geshe Tubten Dorji, because he's taking too much effort in there and here, so he didn't want to disappoint him, and also in some way he wanted to help him in his program, so he couldn't say no to that, and so he agreed to say something, but he says, I don't think I have anything new to tell you.
We appreciate it.
that is
Yeah. Well, I think you take control, I think.
I'd like to start by asking, when were you born?
아니, 가디 총 레스 again. 직동 굽자.
기둥 거제 송조. 소질래라.
1934. Born in 1934.
And where was that?
가와래 저기. 통유. 벼 가와게.
캄바레.
감바스 가와초라.
제당초.
예당초라. Gertang in Kham.
Okay.
Gertang Kham in Tibet.
Can you describe your family a little bit for me?
아니 남미 거디시 송로 지사 남미 간데 담 베일라 파일라.
노메도 카티네. 로.
지다만나 별에 당부 남미 간데에 가져에 메지라 어딘데 송로.
노메 쫓지.
Yes, two. 10 in there were 10 in the family. Yes, 10.
What did his parents do? What did your parents do?
아니 파마도 가르난 거랬어요. 발라말라. 바이라니.
아마도 시가다
라스.
바주냐. 바주zel다. 아테 촌조. 초 오마디쇼. 때는 마디쇼.
라스.
마기 짜.
라스.
시가다는 또
라스.
되게
바주모도 셈마야 라드즈 심마무 세마라게.
라이
라다 야.
로유.
그래서
야유 말이.
Last. They are sort of semi-nomad. That means farming and also keeping cattle, not that much, but cows, goats, sheep. And he explains that the parents go for grazing and come back and milking that by making butter, cheese, like that. And also through farm products, they live.
Did you attend school in Tibet?
별라 아니 랍다 페뇨에서 랍다.
어떤 좀 안용스.
라서.
루트네.
아.
잡아지야이.
라서.
고만dü야.
라서.
루트네 고만dü니. 루트가 봐도. 다 nombi 추기. 소중라데. 진대바 있어.
파일레게.
롱안에 루중안에. 하선디 고를레네.
라서.
로고. 이제 고를하니 진대바 있어.
Lass. No school as such, but he joined monastery at the age of 10. So in the native monastery, he lived there for about 5 years. That is up to 15. Then he left for Lhasa, and joined Debung Losang Monastery, and it was around 9 years. And then 1959, the Chinese occupation happened.
Why did you join the monastery?
아니 곰바로 잡아. 네, 자산을 가진 주인이 있어다. 저와 가두시오나. 저와 가진 제비에서다.
모두 로바들라. 잡아지 시리. 서터 침부질런 줘야게. 두시 때가로 시작. 너무 추글로 좀 못살이. 되게 잡아슈바리.
Yes. And as sort of a custom or tradition or belief was there in the native place that joining monastery and becoming monk, especially joining monastery where they study, is considered like joining a university. No, nowadays universities where you pursue your spiritual needs. No, so he had that spiritual ambition, aspiration. So he wanted to join monastery and learn Buddhist philosophy and practice it.
Did you become a chant master while still in Tibet, or was it after you had crossed over?
아니 괜라 아니 로 아니 um제 나에지도 디 베니 거를 um제 나래 데와 자갈 페니신 um제 나레스 제몰라 나에지와
별응아 소정집에 거리.
That's
또 제가 사투리네. 아니 뭐 gembat에서 갈래 좀주지.
Less.
아니 나라 지루지.
Less.
자송기.
Less.
시와교송.
Less.
대체도 야다네 gembat도 되지.
Less.
마다네. 날 사바지 미시면도.
Less.
대체도 메스네. 라우시 마소.
Less.
그 알레도 물로송 그린가라게 켈랭기 있어.
Less.
자송데 켈랭티 지바이.
Less. In Tibet, as such, he said he was young and he was still undergraduate and he was studying. So, and also at that time there was many seniors, many more competent chant masters there. So, after coming into exile, and maybe it was not right after exile, after maybe you can ask later on, and seniors sadly slowly pass away, and he saw not much among younger monks who are competent, and monastery requested him to be chant master, and he said that initially he declined to take that post, saying that I'm not competent, but on their insistence he agreed to be chant master for 3 years, and let's see.
네. 로송 제자네. 되게 고마치 쉬어인데. 단다 고마치 대야요 말이. 단다 바데 구그레스. 되게 되네. 로주송 받아.
So after 3 years, he asked them for leave, asked them to relieve of the post, of the responsibility, but they declined, and he had to serve the capacity, chant master's responsibility for 13 years overall.
로주송 거는 나서. 나서 아버지 동. 아버지 동네. 요. 예타네. 요 언제 제바 있어. 대체도 메서 뭐게. 단데네 아버지 동 자리. 그 저는 근데 감미미는 그리. 대세서 딘데 말에서 고마슈 바이.
로조섬 제라 고마슈는 낭 아니 자주 나네 양자로 예 가즈나 나이래. So after 13 years, he got that sort of permission to vacate that post, and actually he got some sickness and he had to be operated. So he had to undergo operation. So he had to he was relieved of the post. But after the operation, they again requested him to be the chant master, and he very much initially declined to take the post. But due to the insistence, he had to again agree to be the chant master. As other people said, he said after the operation that chant masters tasks involved many hard chants, so people warned him about that consequences by that. So he felt that, so he had to take leave after 6 months. So he had to leave the post after 6 months, owing to that stress the chant had on post operation.
Why did you originally want to vacate that post after 3 years?
지난 다 로숨 제라네 다 로숨 켈링스라 당문에나 디 로숨 제라니 낭메세디 가진 송인서 당부 시시나디 로숨 나라게 디디다 로숨 낭기 디제라 낭메세제라 디디에니 로숨 제라 낭메세디 가진 송인서
요 손이 제제 구구루
알레 로스게
아까레 가근
로스
깔레는 되네
로스
메세아이
Loss. It was due to many factors, mainly due to two main factors. Like he was undergraduate still then, and so he has to study and go to all prayers and lead the prayers, So it was very stressful, very hard, making the two ends meet, So one factor was that, and others is it's very physically very, very very hard for him at times. So he felt like, giving up the post.
Back to Tibet for a little bit. What is your fondest memory of Tibet?
아니 별라로 다 별을 마무시운데 별기 템바로 저라다 아니 약쇼로 이제 아디 내주 약쇼로 저라 근데 땡야 저라 아니 가르두스게 바이나 레 하사이나 저 아니 근데 야보 총선사 템바로 저라 대가니
대선사나 그거도 별로 도마 잡아지는 놈이 취 하야고 고말을 쉬어대 만은 제산을 주면도 사람을 쉬어야지.
Restless. And looking back, in retrospect, he says that the choice of his joining the monastery and the first time he joined the monastery, that was the joyous, fondest memory he has.
Why did you leave Tibet?
아니 별은 주 아니 라 가진 주 pains 야가라 주 가진 pains.
별라. 먼저 린찬을 데데들라. 자메가 마디오스.
Restless.
쟤는 니데들라.
맞아.
하나 합디가.
Restless. 맞아.
디제도 시나지. 메시아고래.
Restless.
메시아고래.
Restless.
디제도는 뭐죠? 대학교 그거는 면도상. 그거이 정말로 그치 배타샤스.
Restless. At a time when we were living very peacefully, all of a sudden Chinese bombarded, so they came, Chinese force came in the night, indiscriminately killing people around and arresting and torturing, and so he thought there's no chance of living there peacefully, forget about study, continuing the study, and also he learned later on about his Holiness Dalai Lama's leaving, so Tibet, so he felt like following him into exile.
Who all was with you when you left Tibet?
아니 베니 투페디 개념도 로바 수수 간간이요레스.
저도는 메모를 했어. 나그 도통지는 오니. 나지. 막샤기 기지.
그래서.
디녀도 루부지. 디녀도 잡아지. 메시녀도 지는 도통지녀도 오래스.
지담.
캠모요.
Generally speaking, they are you can't really count. Who everyone. Thousands of people are fleeing Tibet. So maybe he says I can call them. I war with them together. But as a group means as a so who share food and everything. We were four people. His teacher and other two students. There were 4 people with him, including him.
How long did the journey take?
수 자갈 페디 가서 걸송사 니마 가서 걸송 다와 가서 걸송사
그 고마디오는 오그레
라스라스
사장 루야요 말이스
라스라스
니미 고라 릴라고
라스라스
쳔라원은 뭐 자밀레자 자밀 가바 통네
라스
세사시
라스
주선조
라스라스
시체구리 쳔라마도 니미 고라 뭐 토야요 말이스
라스라스 아니 가서 걸게
땡고리 이제 무슨 나와지 생고
As you know well that the Chinese army already has well spread it across Tibet, so they were everywhere, so they had no option but to walk flee in the night only and sort of hide in the daytime, so they have to avoid every security, every Chinese army came like that, because if they see kill or make arrest or torture. So fearing that, they had to take very long and also only travel in the night. So it took about 1 month by walking. Yes. Yes. As I said before, he says that we had to turn long routes in order to evade Chinese army. So the road that normally takes just 1 hour or 1 day, we have to travel away. It took about 1 day, like whole day, 2 days, like that. So it made up like 1 month.
Where was your family during this time? Did they flee separately, or did they stay in Tibet?
Gengi nangmizo yoro, gengi nangmizo ani gen znyamdone peomaran didi gen nangmizo kande jagal treto mere kande res. Gengi nangmizo pamada bangin bas.
Nomiti jamete ladu.
Lasa.
Asato. Nomini ke parula.
Lasa.
Tare bushibu.
Lasa.
Dawani tu.
Lasa.
Koto karichi korichi mutundele. Loni shi sonjele mashi. Tana hakumas.
Lasa. Sadly, as you know, that the region he said Gyatang in Kham, that is very far away from Lhasa itself. So about 2 months walking distance. So they had really no chance of fleeing because of distance and the army or So they couldn't flee. Not only that even after coming into exile, he for over 2 decades, over 20 years, he didn't know about about his parents and relatives there in Tibet.
What was the outcome of them? Did they end up fleeing, or did they stay in Tibet?
Yeah, they ended up in Tibet, he said. In Tibet.
When you crossed over, where did you arrive after you fled Tibet?
Pardon?
Where did he arrive after he left Tibet? Where was his destination?
아니 자갈 숲에들어 당부 가와 줄송서 사자 당부 저러 자갈 숲에들어 가와 줄송서.
자갈 동무
저서 사자 돼 가와 있어.
바스카스 아성게 아성도 타니고 이게 바스카스게 자가게 사차이게 되게 나오는 줄송.
Yes. Pasika. He says they arrived at Pasika in Assam state in India. Pasika in Assam, India. The bordering Tibet.
Did he go to a refugee camp?
And did he namsa did Senju Bugile Jabju Nilan the Chingay Yore, then the Yona de paying Kandid Tambu Peva, the Jagal Peva, Kandisons.
Jagazunga Tadi.
No.
Jagazunga Tadi. My Ruba police, Machi Jagazunga, Jagazunga Tilly, Sanini, Jagazunga, Sayatoya.
Yes. He says that we are grateful to Indian government that they have a reception there. Actually they are escorted by Dubai Mami Age. In Bhutanese army, escorted by Bhutan army and handed over to Indian receptions there, and the next day they were given rations, everything, So we are very grateful to Indian government and the people.
How long did you stay in that spot in India before you came to Mungad?
아니 거기 주로 거기 페사지도 바스카스래 바스 박사래 그냥 로고 말아 박사다
바스카이 시기래
지금 알아 셈 나야 사자 로가지 인사했어 박사야
니마도 나왔어
박사라 바스카이네 박사이네라 박사라 아니 수 박사네 수 마편네 거기 자 몬골레라 Baksal ni da do khadu shena baksal lo khadu shu res phagila su jagal
logo there is.
Los. They stayed there in about 9 years there in Baksar. Pasika Baksar, BUXXOR, Baksar.
So when did you arrive in Mungad? What year?
Lochana Kazas Kior, Chikton Gubja, Dunchure, Kazarke. Twa, Yamon Ko Lepedi, Tini, Re again. Re. It's 1973, 1973.
So throughout all this time when you arrived in Baksa?
Oh, Baksar, yes.
And then when you first arrived in Mungad, were you still performing all the duties of a monk?
Ani yegi Baksar la logu shurage. The logu shuringala yegi yegi la kare na res begina yegura yegi lobjong re na re kare na res yegi na.
No chu lobjong te garong chen de bare me ye lobjong tan chi ma.
Los. Yes, he said, as per the vision and guidance of his Dalai Lama, he wanted to preserve and restore this rich heritage of Buddhist culture and all this. So he requested to Indian government and leaders for such, those who came from Tibet, especially for monastic universities, their group, they said a camp. Actually, I heard it was a prison camp in British time, So they had that camp for them for studying, in the hope that to continue the study of Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, and Buddhist culture there. They studied Buddhism like in Tibet.
Jaga jung la. Basa chitong nga jati lekha le mugwa. Jaga jung pu te ru si se ni tomo ru bi chege. Shune. Te no yuri. Te le de bari.
So as I said a little bit earlier, he seeing great importance in preserving the Tibetan culture and Buddhist culture. His Holiness Dalai Lama requested Indian government and Indian leaders that though majority of the young people, especially men, they were sent to road camps and labors, he's requested to allot some place, some center for the continuation of the study and Buddhist practice and study of Buddhist philosophy, for particularly for that, not exempting them from going for road walks and other manual.
Basala lo gotela nombi chula. Pe me te shu joji raso. Ti joji rane to go ji cha ngudu. Konga le ka le gu chung re ti. Ine ka le ta jeni shu. Ji ti shu ni ti ta ba mo re. Ti le chopi. Ni ti so. Bigi nombi chu jengi ti pe me se ya bu cha du.
It was thanks to Indian government and his Dalai Lama that they got very good opportunity, good time. They could focus really hard on their studies and practice of Buddhism there in Baksar for 9 years. And due to that, like him and many monks, they really improved their knowledge of Buddhism and all these things, and very much. And this really helped later on. Later on, where they shifted to re-established settlement to Mongot and Balagopi, at that time they had to walk and study. And so due to that time, 9 years, they had study, purely focusing on study. They did not face much problem with study, later on. So that they could, teach the young recruits, young monks joining the monks, and now you see how many monks. So that 9 years proved to be very pivotal for that later years. So because at that time they learned very much and practice. So that practice got transferred, sort of passed on to the later joining monks, young monks. Even though they had to walk and study here, they didn't get much time later on.
바사 지동가 제티기 함니 아버지 공수니 아버지 좀 아니 이차 딜리온도 아티선 비투아데 바사 공수지 티가 고대는 좀
It was actually 1,500 monks at Baksar, and it is not only Drabung Losang Monastery. It's from all religious sects. That is, His Holiness Dalai Lama saw that importance of that. So from that. Now 1,500 it grew to 10,000, 20,000 now. It was mainly due to that period of pure study and practice, concentrated effort to restore and preserve that Tibetan culture that we could pass on. That he is repeating that.
Geshe Totendoji nenu the Hojonje Pagishi Tanjure. They don't teach it to Geshe Tunke. Momotende used to know Bichugula. Maybe say up in the child.
So Geshe Totendoji is one among that early one, and after him there have been thousands following him, like him, good study and practice. So we are very happy that the result is coming. We are reaping what we saw.
How was learning and practicing Buddhism different, especially during those 9 years in Boxer, and also following in Lungard, than your education and faith would have been back in Tibet?
Comparison among three or just India or
India and Tibet, yeah.
Tachidan Baksar dani jagat dewan Mongol la lomnya mangna rage. Ta di dani phe yora. Phe nang la lomnya na nang dang da nyamle nang dang jira. O di khebaro kare zo ro khebaro kare yores ge kare.
Pura Lojun don't they? Lojun Chiato. Pechata, go Joato. Tendegile Kachimatu. Ye Misigi. Kayu Maris. Jagasa to lady. Ne. And Lekato Sundin at the Chichi. And they. Lojun to Shumandri again, Lekayu to Shumandri again. And the age in you too, did it.
Comparing the two in Tibet and India, he says that in Tibet you could really focus on, when he was in Tibet like other monks, really focus on your study and practice, because you don't have to worry about your daily necessities, though they are not that good as today, but environment is as such that they are contented to be they are contented to with that and purely focus on the study. Coming into exile, especially after Baksar is rather different. He said, he could, and coming into exile, especially after post-Mongol establishment. They had to balance the work, the work and study. So it was a bit difficult for them, And also the goal, he feels in Tibet, it was in Tibet studying, practice, and meditation. That was only that was the sole aspiration, only aim. Here, the goal diversified. It got verified. Here we have to serve different means different needs depending upon our environment. So it depends. It varies in goals and also means and also attitude.
Could you describe to me your life in exile since leaving Tibet? Does India feel like home to you now?
what exactly your question is?
I asked if he could describe to me his life in exile and whether India feels like home to him now.
아니 지단 당부들 아니 자갈 평지 아니 미세 간에 주라 그 민주도 주라 자갈 수페라 게이다 미세 민주도 간에 미세 간에로 충성 소도로 주라 아니 가마들 아니 다다 줄로 부시로 예사로 자갈 펜 자갈이 알아 나인 선선로 주라 낭로시 소우도에 주라 어디
마살로 정글에 생이 좋아했다. 아마로 로마니네. 로마니 자가 그렇지. 또 우리 간데지 비구이나. 내가 누구 좀 비구이나. 가르치 비구이나 그 상관이지.
Yes.
그냥 정글을 보세요. 이제
Initially, when fleeing Tibet and arriving at Lhasa, he was very happy, at least to escape from Chinese army and being alive in India. And he, at first, just was happy, contented with just having. Being able to tend to hunger and thirst, just living, just getting the food and clothing proper. And afterwards, as he told his before, due to his Dalai Lama's guidance and his request to Indian government and Indian people, and he couldn't even dream that he had the privilege and opportunity to continue study in that Basar University, Tibetan Monastery University for another 9 years, and that proved to be very helpful for him and other 1,500 monks. So it was really helpful, and so all the way he said his only thought or his aspiration is to continue and study and practice Buddhism, and he had no other thought apart from that. So he still think about practicing and also as far as possible teach youngsters so that he can pass on his little knowledge to the future.
Did you become a chant master while in Boxer, or was it in Mungad?
Gen omze chemula yora chemula pedi baksaln pere ni mongol de chindes mongol pe ni shine chemula nars
마로 로선지 수도공은 데발레니 로선지 수도공을 다 손데 제바이
devaleni ratva yeah, at the age of 37 and after coming to Mangot, he was appointed or he requested to be the chant master.
What qualifications did you have to become a chant master?
Ta chemula yora chemula naela kejero yora kare gore ra chemula umze naela kejero kare gore ra chesan chemula naela
다 너무 그동지 그동 시바지 그러게지.
Restless.
너무 너야 야부 그러게지.
Restless.
영어 대야도 됐어. 소소근 다 시바지 그러게지.
Restless. He says that as a monastery, our monastery is a big monastery, Drepung Losele Monastery. It has many its own tradition of prayers, hymns, devotional sort of symphony. They have typical that one. So the most important thing is that you should have many texts in memory. So you are leading the prayer, congregational prayer. Main responsibility to lead the prayer, congregational prayer, whole group prayer. When they meet prayer, he should lead and lead the prayer. So he should be well versed. He should have all in their memory. He should by heart recite all these things. So naturally, one has to have many texts in by heart, and also most importantly, we have many unique that way of saying recitation. We call it tayang. Tayang la khalay nagi. Tayang la duen tayang. Sort of technique. There is tayang. Some tones are high, some tones are low. That way, many even the same prayers are recited differently in different monasteries. So he should be well versed in the monasteries, tradition of way of recitation that in that particular tone, high and low, and sometimes neutral. So he should be well versed in that, and also he should have a good voice, multiphonic. You have heard of that multiphonic sound, the chanting. You have heard that, Maybe he will try for you. Raya, zoge abu kora again.
Zoge de abu kora. Jinon doman dolo. Tatom dolo to.
Ode.
Kui to ne. Teacher will me. Kon tremba de. Kon tremba de teacher.
So he is repeating that you can't really on your will, at your will, you can't recite, the prayer. No, you should go follow some that again. You should follow the age or tradition of that recitation, that tone, specific tone, high and low. Like you must have heard of that. So he said that you should abide by that and lead the prayer. So, and also he said you should go good voice, multiphonic voice, multiphonic sound. We call that zoke.
Did you train your voice to have that tone, or was it something that you were born with naturally?
Then that zoke yo again. Sorry. Zoke the any gengi jangore tangbo gore so yongde je kanre. It depends, he says. Some they have unique inborn, and by inborn by birth. Some have to train hard to have that, He has that inborn, he says. Luckily, he said.
Can you describe the duties that come with being a chant master? Is it just leading prayer, or are there other responsibilities involved?
아니 다 chemola yoro again umze la thazang ki umze ti da sa chola domba da kwe da domba di na ti ma ti sa ma se ro ani gen ro chale ro ani kare res gen
ta song le ka kwanga la ti tu je ku res
las
ya chondo lu ku re
las
ma tama nyondu ni la chondo ni la chondo
las
tama nyondu
las
ani ya chando to la
That's he says not only about its chant master's responsibility is not only about leading the prayer at congregation. He says that, as you might heard, in the monastery there is abbot and assistant abbot, then chief disciplinarian this morning here, and one. Gegwe Lamomze Sinsurita Chemulara Chan Master. These three are below that, we call it Uchusum. So apart from that, leading the prayer, congregational prayer, he has to tend to every affair, major affair of the monastery, in consultation with abbot and other, and also with the administration, the Losang Monastery's administrative office. So he has to take responsibility in taking that, consultation, deciding, decision making. So and also not only a prayer, every debate, morning and evening, and that is preceded or in the between they have some chant, some recitation of texts, texts, root texts. So he had to attend all that, So it's very heavy responsibility, and it's time consuming. Yeah, that's so. And he says it's very powerful as an official in the monastery. He has right to point, fault, and also, he has to, and he has this responsibility to rectify any fault, by any other official like staffs and monks like that.
Although you said it was stressful, did you enjoy your time as chant master?
Tagi da chidang kungye de yorwasa sungswasa de chemula naidi ine da gengi dadi kala da ani chemula nai jora odi da gazor do la da tonang do kiburu chung se la ore kala dadi ra ani kale do chung sungs tonang yeah. Less. Yes, he says it is very stressful, and especially during the tenure, that period when you are chant master, it is very difficult, But having served that post very sincerely and with every good effort to make a difference, after finishing that completion of the tenure, he felt very happy and could rejoice for what he did, So at the end, he was very happy, but during the tenure, it was very, very hard. And he was really very happy that whatever he learned, from his elders, masters in Tibet and in Baksar, he had that chance to pass that down to the youngsters, who again will pass the younger ones. So he was really very happy that he could do that, And though he said that he didn't go outside for monetary, that one, he still stayed here and served the monastery here, and pass on everything he knew to the youngsters.
I just have a few more questions.
Yeah.
Do you believe that one day you will return to Tibet?
Pardon?
Do you believe that you will return to Tibet?
아니 gengi da pelaji lo tu re gongi de Sure, he believes we can, because even it depends on Chinese policy over us and other, international policy. So he surely believes we can return to Tibet. It's a matter of time, because on the basis that even Chinese people, leaders are not permanent. Their thinking and their policy would not be permanent, means static sort of, So One day they would be changed to their mindset, and also to their policy, and upon that, sure, we will have that opportunity to return to Tibet, we hope.
Do you believe the Dalai Lama will return to Tibet?
Pardon?
Do you believe that the Dalai Lama?
아니 저번부터 아니 별 아니 페토레 공대에서 다 집어를 지라던다 송다지.
네.
아.
영어를 그렇게 피하게.
아.
자기 위에.
러스.
이래 비기. 야매기 시비도 문에 따는 맞아. 땅 타서. 너한테서. 뭐야 가버려.
러스. As you all might be aware of, His Holiness Dalai Lama is always ready to go to Tibet and China, but due to the stubbornness or the mindset of Chinese leaders, present Chinese leaders, that that is not happening. So the same is the case with that. So he hopes one day it will happen.
What are your feelings toward the Chinese people?
아니 자미 솔라 자미 미망로라 자미 미망 솔라 아니 겐게 따당도 지라 아니 간데여스 시당도 지라
자미 메마데 메마는 메마로레
레스
수수고 수구이던다 되지 제대마도 저도 오차세야다 되다니 요마데
레스
데 제대게 가이마도 뭐 되게
레스
건강하게
Yes. Jami memang lah sidang jorang di yabu yes orang dah. Dah di. Yes. Towards general Chinese people, he has no hatred as such. They are no. They didn't do anything wrong. Just like us, they are just seeking to live their life, as fair as possible. So they don't have any sort of influence, on our Tibetan brutality, that anything that happened. And so he says that. Tibet tragedy happened only because of very few people up, top policymakers and that policy executors. So for the general Chinese people, he says he is very appreciative, as appreciative as any other people, and wish them happy, same like other human beings. And just like he said before, that as for the topmost, their policy and all these things, it would not stand forever. So surely one day it will change. So we will see a bright future very soon.
What is your hope for the future of Tibet?
아니 gengi maung 벽이 라와로 저라 아니 가려요. 벽이 라와로 저라. 별라 라와로 진짜 중국에서 야부용으로 세저라데 벽이 라와로 가려요.
라와라데. 야가 로마를 내먹으라지. 수수 로마를. 파지 루토나. 강아지네 수수 로마데. 가리지네 수수 공자리.
그래서
되지. 주로 지나서 중국에서 내가 로마를 내.
yes.
영어도도리.
yes.
까마짱 사시고. 라바짱 사마라.
yes.
지 옛도 되고.
yes.
yes.
Though we are very grateful to Indian government and Indian people for all the support they have given us for well over 5 decades, nearing 6 decades, we are very grateful to them. But home is a home, so we feel like we are going back, and at times we feel and naturally by the guidance, by the leadership of His Holiness Dalai Lama, and we will one day return to Tibet through, as you know, the by means of that we are not right now. We are not seeking total independence. We are seeking just genuine autonomy for Tibet. So that is mutually beneficial for both Chinese and Tibet. So we hope very soon, one day, that Chinese authorities will be aware that will sense the that mutual beneficiary in that in our proposal, in His Holiness the Dalai Lama's vision, so that we can return to Tibet and set example for the world.
Myself and the rest of the text program are grateful that you shared your story with us again, and look forward to archiving it and preserving that piece of Tibetan history. Thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Morang da ane da chokpa chama kis ro ane da yanja chi ne pe charjin kogam na da la tuji ches pe abu song de loke ma bora song ane tuji ches kadin ches ane song
다리 저런 데 원래 말이지. 저런 지 지요데. 지.
알았어.
이제 기차. 엔토라마도.
알았어.
이제 시야가 그거나마도 총총스.
알았어.
이제 내가 빼면서. 저런 도로에 총총세샤.
알았어.
허정도 동호회 개체들이.
알았어.
이제 당도인이 허정도서.
And he says he also is very pleased to meet you again, and also welcome. We very appreciate that you people and all whole text people making effort towards our preservation of our culture in exile, and thank you so much for that again. And also what he sees that you all are young and bright and intelligent students, so he sees great hope in all of you. So he urges you all to continue study hard and also pay added attention to the to create the world of peace and harmony and pollution free world. Also, thanks again. Thank you so much again, he says.